Imagine transforming the way you give feedback, not just to make a point, but to drive real change in your life and the lives of those around you. Today, I'll share strategies to do just that. When I first started managing people, I was really bad at giving feedback. And that was because I wanted people to like me. So instead of being open and honest, I tended to dance around the subject. And if the employee was lucky enough to follow my winding and wildly off-course dialogue, they may have gleaned the real intent of the feedback. But this approach wasn't helpful to anyone. I wasn't being direct, and I wasted valuable time that could have been spent on helping that person achieve great results. Feedback is essential to our personal and our professional growth. It's a crucial aspect of learning, improving, and achieving our goals. Without it, we're left in the dark, unaware of our strengths and weaknesses, and we're unable to make meaningful progress. In this video, I'll be sharing innovative strategies to enhance feedback effectiveness so you can create real change in your life and the life of those around you. Giving and receiving feedback can be a daunting task. Many of us struggle with the fear of confrontation or rejection or hurting someone's feelings. In fact, studies show that 44% of managers find it stressful to give negative feedback, and 21% avoid giving feedback altogether. There's also the challenge of delivering feedback in a way that's both honest and constructive, and without coming across as harsh or overly critical. These fears can lead us to either avoid giving feedback, or, if you're like me, to sugarcoat it and then dilute its impact. But what if we could shift our mindset and approach to feedback? What if we could create an environment where feedback is seen as a valuable gift rather than a burden or a threat? When we're open to receiving feedback, we open ourselves up to new insights, perspectives, and opportunities for growth. And when we give feedback effectively, we empower others to do the same. So, how do we make this shift? Here are 4 key strategies that you can use to transform your feedback skills and drive real change. First, it's important to shift your mindset. Start by viewing feedback as a tool for growth, not as a criticism. Embrace a mindset that values learning over being right. And research shows that teams with a growth mindset are 34% more likely to feel a strong sense of ownership and commitment to their work. By changing the way you think about feedback, you can transform it from something to fear into something to embrace. Next, practice active listening. When receiving feedback, focus on the other person's perspective. Don't just hear the words. Listen for the meaning behind them. Active listening can improve your ability to respond constructively, and it shows the other person that their input is valued. This approach helps build trust, and it ensures that the feedback process is truly a two-way conversation. The third strategy is to use the right technique. The old standard feedback method, taught at a lot of companies, is called the sandwich technique, and that's where criticism is placed between 2 slices of praise. However, if not done authentically, it can come off as insincere. I really think this approach is way too outdated, and quite frankly, it's not direct or respectful to employees. Alternately, consider an approach called radical candor. This is a technique that emphasizes both honesty and empathy. This approach fosters trust and opens up a dialogue for growth. According to studies, organizations practicing radical candor experience a 25% increase in team collaboration. Here's an example of these 2 approaches being used. A marketing team leader needs to provide feedback on a recent campaign. By using the sandwich technique, they could say, "I love the creativity you brought to this campaign, but I think we could improve the targeting. However, your presentation skills are top-notch." That was 2 snippets of praise sandwiched between the real feedback, which is that the employee needs to improve in the area of audience targeting. I should have gotten right to the point. On the other hand, here's how it goes with the radical candor approach. The team leader might say, "Hey, I wanted to talk to you about the targeting on this campaign. I think we could do better. Can we brainstorm some ideas together?" This approach fosters a more open and honest conversation, leading to better results. The brainstorming is also a great way for the team leader to see how the employee thinks about problem solving and offer some mentoring while getting their performance back on track. Lastly, make it a dialogue, not a monologue. Again, in the example I gave at the start of this video, I used to ramble on and never get to the point. I also sucked a lot of air out of the room in the process. Instead, feedback should be a two-way street. Encourage the other person to share their thoughts and be open to discussing how the feedback can be acted upon. This creates a collaborative environment where both parties are invested in the outcome, leading to a better understanding and more effective change. It can also help you create new KPIs for growth and improvement, helping employees achieve their full potential. I personally remember when a mentor's feedback transformed my communication style. They pointed out that I suffered fools lightly. The feedback stung at first, and I got a bit defensive. But as I reflected, I realized they were right. That feedback was a turning point for me, helping me develop a more empathetic and collaborative approach that included more patience, and I certainly needed it, and active listening. In this video, we've explored the challenges of giving and receiving feedback, and shared strategies to make it more effective. Remember, feedback is a powerful tool for growth and transformation, but it requires a willingness to be vulnerable, open, and honest. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Share your own feedback experiences or tips in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you think someone else could benefit from this, hit that share button and spread the knowledge. Thanks for joining me on this journey to transform the way we give feedback. Remember, feedback isn't just about pointing out what's wrong. It's about creating a positive change. And remember, you've got this.